Coming back at you with another episode, splashing in the fishbowl. And on today's episode, we got the cook up. I want to hit this one more time, but that bacon need to come out of there. Them sausages, we can hit them one more time for the just a little bit, not too long. The grits, they already just smashed. The grits just already just smashed, pumpkin ready. Like they still warming a little bit. You know what I'm saying? The grits is just ready. Actually pop this bacon over there. Yeah, I'll probably make the bacon soft though. That's all nice and crispy and crunchy right now. Fuck it. We'll stick the bacon in there. Maybe we'll make some more. I ate one piece. Now we gotta get the eggs going. Gotta get the power plug. This shit burnt my hand right here. So this the power cord for the pot right here for the eggs. We gotta get some butter. Butter out the refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? Lather up this. Hold up. My bad. Yeah, y'all stand is up there, but y'all gonna have to be right here for right now. Y'all good. A little bit more butter in the grits, and then grits is good to go, you know what I'm saying? I put like 2 cheeses in the grits, but we're gonna get one more because you know, need a little cheese in the eggs, you heard me? Need a little cheese in the eggs. Damn, that's what I forgot to get. I forgot to get actual plates. I only got bowls. Damn it. So how many eggs we gonna do? We gonna do like, put that butter in them grits, stir that up. Make sure we don't overcook our meat, cause the air fryer will burn that meat. That's good. We'll just let that stay plugged up. And also these right here. See these right here? Once you unplug this, don't touch these. They'll be so hot. I messed around and grabbed. I don't know how my finger went in there, but I messed around and grabbed in there. Shit burnt my finger. So if you can, try to but let's get this pot cooking. Let's get this grease melt. This butter melting, so we can get our eggs cooking. Air fryer done. Now we got our stove top going. See, if you want to have a nice hot breakfast, you got to do all this like simultaneously. This is, let me show you what this is. This is some grits and some bacon. We got some maple sausages right there, some patty sausages right there. I probably cut them on for a little bit longer, but the other side almost burnt. Yeah, they can go for a little bit longer. But right now we finna get the eggs going because we like to eat all our food hot. You know what I'm saying? We like to eat the food hot, man. We don't want food that's chilled and cold. We want it nice and hot. Look at that, the butter melting already. Make sure the whole pot got a little bit of butter in it because that's a pretty big pot just to be scrambling eggs in. But that's all we got for a pan top right now. So that's what we gotta use. What y'all say? I think 4 eggs should be decent. What I gotta put the pepper and the salt up already. We gotta get that back out. We still need that. Salt and the pepper. Yeah, we need that. Gotta have your salt and pepper. And a little slice of cheese for the eggs. You put the other slice with the grits. Let's get it going. 1 egg. Got some shell in there. We gotta get that shell out of there. That shell up out of there. All right, egg number 2. All right, egg number 3. If you by yourself, you probably could be good with 2 eggs. But I'm an egg man. I like eggs. So we're going to go with 4 eggs this morning. You know what I'm saying? 1, 2, 3, 4. And napkins. So we got yolk all on our hand. Pause. Yolk all on the hand. Pause.
He dug around his pocket for a box of condoms. It came up empty. Damn. What's the matter, baby? You don't want none of this, honey? She breathed in his ear, reaching between her legs and jerking Don B's dick. I ain't got no jimmies, Mom, he said defeated. The girl bit her lip and thought on it for a minute. Come on, take it anyway. You rich, so I know you ain't got nothing. Just don't come inside me, okay? Don B looked down at her and smiled his devilish smile. If you like it, then I love it, he said before plunging into her sweetness, and how sweet it was. Missionary was cool, but the Don needed to be in control, so he flipped her over and hit from the back. They started out slow, measured strokes, but it wasn't long before Don B lost himself and tore off into it. Wrapping his arms around her waist, he lifted the girl partially off the seat and began to thrust deeply into her. Spewing obscenities, he exploded inside the girl and fell back against the opposite door. Don B lay on his back on the opposite end of the row, panting and staring at the girl across the truck, who had soaked her inner thighs as well as the seat beneath her with both their time before the bullet shattered the window and pierced his shoulder. Don B's shoulder instantly went numb and left him to fumble with the other door with one hand. He had almost undone the lock when another shooter came to that side of the truck and joined in the shooting, trapping Don B in the middle. He lunged for the big-breasted girl who was now screaming and pulled her on top of him as he fell toward the SUV. Bullets ripped through the girl's helpless body as Don B held her there, human shield. Don B stayed huddled beneath the corpse of the girl, bleeding like a stuck pig and begging God to spare his life long after the shooting had stopped. He could hear people outside the truck screaming and sirens in the distance, but couldn't will himself to move from beneath the bullet-ridden corpse. Above his head, the backseat door was snatched open, and a pair of hands tugged at him. Don B fought with everything he had, but it was useless with him just having one arm available. As Don B lay on the street corner in front of the bodega, he decided that if he was going to die, he would look into the eyes of the bullets before he did so. When he opened his eyes, he realized that it wasn't shooters who had pulled him from the truck, but the police. Sir, are you hurt? The officer was kneeling over him, checking his wounds. The bullet appeared to have gone clean through, but he had several cuts and bruises on his face and lower body from the blast. He was laid out with his pants around his ankles, but the embarrassment was a small price to pay for his life. They shot the Don! Someone shouted. I didn't know he was holding like that, one girl said of his exposed privates. Is he dead? Don B heard it all, but none of it moved him. All he could do was stare at the girl he had blazed not 2 minutes prior. Gone was the cute young dime who had pressed him at the dice game, replaced by a mess of flesh, blood, and stolen dreams. Bullet holes riddled her back, with one even making it through the back of her skull and busting one of her eyes. The other eye stared accusingly at Don B. He knew that if he lived to be 1,000, He would never forget the look on the girl's face. "Let me through! I'm the bodyguard!" Devil shoved his way through the crowd teary-eyed. It was his job to protect Don B, and he'd allowed his charge to get caught up. If Don B had gotten hurt, Devil would have never been able to face his Uncle Remo. "Don, speak to me! Tell me what happened!" He knelt over the shocked rapper. Don B turned and looked at him through his broken sunglasses. There was a look of fear in his eyes that Devil had never seen. Don B had to swallow before he can build up enough moisture in his mouth to talk. "Yo, these niggas tried to take my head." Chapter 19. "Yeah, they tried to take my head. These pushy niggas tried to take my head." Animal rapped lazily into the microphone. The small booth was so full of smoke that all you could really make out of him was the ruby-flooded Muppet bust hanging from his chain. He and the character bore striking resemblance. He was so at peace, wrapped in the comfort of his music, that the stress of Lee's murder and all the other bodies that would drop before it was all said and done, bled off into nothingness, leaving behind only him and the music. Manning the control board was Chip, one-third of the group, the Left Coast Theory, and executive producer on Animal's album. The Left Coast Theory had been composed of Chip, No Doze, and Fully. Some say they were the purest hip-hop group to come along in a long time, and they seemed destined to win. But destiny sometimes has a way of throwing you curveballs, as they would soon learn. No Doze's heavy drugging had finally caught up to him, and one day they found him running down Wilshire Boulevard ass naked with a crack pipe in his mouth. His family checked him into a treatment facility to get help, but that only made things worse, with them substituting one drug for another. No Doze had lost his desire to make music, and now spent his days staring out the window at his mother's house. Fully, the resident menace of the group, couldn't seem to stay out of trouble, and eventually ended up getting handed a dime by the state of New York for a bar fight gone horribly wrong. All that remained of one of hip-hop's most promising groups was Chip. The thin Lebanese immigrant looked completely out of place at times with the Big Dog crew, but he felt right at home among them. Since Animal had come aboard Big Dog, he and Chip had worked closely together, so it wasn't unusual for him to find himself in a nest of vipers during the studio sessions. Initially, it had made him uneasy, but after a while he had gotten used to it. He and Animal would lock themselves away in various recording studios, perfecting a sound that not even Don B totally understood. The two made quite the odd pair, but no one could deny their chemistry, as damn near everything they touched was a hit. "Aight, we good," Chip said into the intercom, but Animal continued rhyming. Even after the music had been shut off, he kept going. Chip had to bang on the glass to let him know to stop. "That motherfucker be in a zone," Soda said from the love seat. He was lounging on with two big butt young females that he had picked up God only knew where. Soda was the stack screen in his Texas crew. With
So there you have it, guys.
A star in the making. Though he didn't have...
There you have it. We got the breakfast. We got the eggs with the cheese in it. We got the patty sausage. We got the maple sausage. Let's see how these taste. This one is well done. I like my food well done. I'll test out the eggs. I'm gonna come out with the grits. We're gonna plug the grits back up right quick. Let them warm back up. We don't like no cold food. Yeah, I was just saying we gotta warm up the grits. The grits are a little bit cooler. We don't like that. We like hot grits. So we got them warming back up for about another 2-3 minutes. And breakfast is served in the truck. You heard me? Just in case, because I seen it clicked off. I didn't know it had clicked off. Just in case y'all missed it, the air fryer gets it done. All right? We cook bacon in there. We cook sausage in there. Sausage patties. And sausage. You heard me? And we got the grits going. They warming back up right now. Cheese grits. Buttery cheese grits with the eggs. Scrambled eggs. I'm a chef in this thing, man. You understand me?
Which is to work them boards. So what you need to do is keep your nose in that music and out of my business. And what you need to do is watch how you talk to my friend Shota, and with a blank expression on his face. I think we might be losing perspective here. So let's make this a closed session. Shota, show your company out, please. Come on, animal, don't be like that. Alright, you got it. I'm about to go to the booth and kill this shit right now. Soda assured him. That's dope. But I think it would still be a good idea if the ladies cut out. You can hook up with them after we're done, Animal suggested. Uh-huh. He just gonna try and kick us out when you invited us here, Soda. Who he think he is? The dark-skinned girl said indignantly. I'm a nigga who respects a lady enough to be polite, but doesn't mind disciplining a bitch when she gets beside herself. What category do you fall into, ma? The temperature dropped 10 degrees when Animal posed the question. The girl looked like she was gonna say something fly, but Soda wisely intervened. Alright, time to go. Soda ushered the women toward the door, ignoring their complaints. Soda, this is some real crab shit. I'm gonna unfollow your ass on Twitter, the light-skinned girl threatened. My heart bleeds. Beat it, bitches. Soda slammed the door in their faces. My fault, Animal. No apologies needed among friends, Soda. Animal gave him that. Now go up in there and get your merc going so we can wrap this session up. Bet. Soda strode into the booth confidently and slipped on the headphones. I swear I want to slap that kid sometimes, Chip confessed to Animal after he started the music in Soda's headphones. Soda is a good dude. He just needs direction sometimes. Animal expelled smoke from his nose. Soda's dry at times. But you could learn to lighten up too, Chip. Me? I'm the most easygoing dude in the world, Chip declared. Yeah, you my motherfucking dog, but you could be very uptight when it comes to making music. Chip ran his hands through his wild hair. Here we go with this. I want your little buddy to stop trying to make porn clips on the sofa and work like the rest of us. And I'm uptight? If I'd been in here eating mushrooms instead of getting... If I'd been in here eating mushrooms instead of getting the music right, you'd be the first one throwing a hissy fit. But I should go easy on him? This is a race thing, right? Animal laughed. Chip, your ass is shot out. Yeah, and you're greedy. Pass the weed, dude. Animal gave Chip the blunt and grabbed a towel from the couch to wipe away the sweat on his back and chest. His BlackBerry vibrated on the console with the word unavailable flashing across the screen. He didn't recognize the number, so he started to not pick it up. But something in the pit of his gut told him to answer the call. Yeah? Hold on, I got Brosco on the other line, a female voice said. Animal let out an aggravated sigh.
Hey, y'all hit that like button for me. What's up? What's up? What you talking about? Hello, brother. What's going on, D? Happy. Sanu, one of y'all hit that like button for me. Let's get the algorithm doing something over here. I got the food cooking. It's warming up.
Pointing the finger at each other, trying to figure out who was to blame for the latest mess they'd gotten themselves into. Regardless of who was at fault, Animal would do what he could to get them out. But he had every intention of giving them hell before he did. You still there? The female voice came back. Yeah, I'm here. What it is, big homie? Roscoe's voice came over the line. Y'all niggas got the hardest heads in the world. What the fuck did I tell y'all when I dropped you off? Big homie, before you even go there, let me run down to you what happened. 5 minutes after you skirted, Black and Brown rolled up on some bullshit, Roscoe told him. By Black and Brown, Animal knew he was talking about the notorious detectives, Alvarez and Brown. They had a hard-on for Animal that he couldn't understand, and had been subtle pains in his ass since he'd left New York. What the fuck they want? Animal asked. Dudes was pressing us about some animals that escaped from the zoo. Of course, we told them we didn't know what they were talking about. They locked us up anyway. Animal shook his head. Some dudes are just poor-ass losers. I know you were never probably down at the Tombs or on your way. But where did they put the little one? Roscoe laughed. Me and Neff were the only ones twisted. The little homie grew wings when they rolled. Alright, don't sweat it. As soon as y'all go before the judge, I'll have somebody waiting with the bail money. I don't think that'll be necessary, my nigga. They ain't got shit on us but a little bit of weed, so we'll probably be out tonight or tomorrow. We hope, Nefertiti shouted in the background. Neff, shut the fuck up and go ask the CEO if we're gonna see the judge tonight or not, Roscoe barked. My fault. He turned his attention back to the phone. All the extra theatrics are because we wouldn't help they pussy asses. I just wanted to give you the heads up about these cocksuckers pounding the turf. Good looking now. Is there anything I can do for y'all while you're in there? Animal asked. Yeah, if we don't make it to the party, put a gum in something for your nigga. Roscoe cracked up laughing. What? Nigga, what the fuck you mean, put a gum in it? The female voice came back. I'm burning up my phone bill making three-way calls for your ass, and you got the nerve to be on there talking greasy? See, that's why I hate your scandalous ass, Roscoe. Animal hung up and left Roscoe and his lady to it. It was disturbing to know that his cronies were locked in, but more disturbing was the fact that Brown and Alvarez were on his heels again, so soon. He'd known that they were pissed about not being able to connect him to the massacre that had claimed the life of his lover, China White, and led to Tech's execution. But he didn't give a shit, because they didn't have anything on him. Still, he knew that the detectives would have tested what they did, and hadn't intended on drawing their ire just yet. But he couldn't let Rockhead slide. With the snitch being out from under police protection, Animal figured he could kill him, and no one would particularly care. But he had been wrong. Rockhead's murder occurring around the time that he came back to New York with a promotional tour was all the persistent detectives needed to reopen old wounds and continue their witch hunt to catch Animal dirty. He was more than confident in his ability at stealth, but he was hardly foolish enough to think that the detectives wouldn't be a problem. Alvarez and Brown were very poor losers and would go above and beyond the law to try and jam him, but this would not deter Animal from his course of action, only detour him a bit. Everything cool? Chip asked, noticing the worried expression on Animal's face. Yeah, I'm good, Animal lied. Before Chip could dig deeper, the studio phone rang. Chip answered it and listened intently to the caller on the other line. From the look on his face, Animal knew it wasn't good news.
Okay.
When Chip hung up, he cut the music and hit the intercom. It's a wrap for right now, Soda. We'll finish tomorrow. What the fuck, man? Soda whined.
Oh my God.
What's good? Animal asked. That was Devil. Don B's been shot. Is he okay? Animal asked. Yeah, but he ain't happy. He wants us all to meet him at Harlem Hospital for an emergency staff meeting. Animal put his shirt back on and grabbed his gun. First, the detectives were asking about him, and now Don B had gotten shot. It seemed like lately he and New York were a recipe for drama. But drama or not, he had come too far to let anyone, or anything, stray him from the path he had set for himself. Looks like we got our work cut out for us, big homie, Animal said to the air before following Chip and Soda from the studio. Chapter 20. The sounds of Tweet's Southern Hummingbird played softly on the portable CD player, while Malika sat on her tattered living room couch, staring out the window at the twinkling lights of the project. She was going to bust out the Wii Fit and do some yoga, but she was too drained, so she decided to sip some tea and sort through the old mail she'd found in the kitchen drawer. Bills, bills, bills. Malika muttered as she tossed the envelopes into the trash can one by one. Halfway through the pile, she came across an envelope addressed to her from the state of New York. It was a letter from the welfare notifying her that she had to come in for recertification or risk her benefits being cut off. The deadline for her to come in had been 2 days prior, which explained why her EBT card no longer worked. She knew that she hadn't gotten the letter out of the box, which meant it had to be Solomon's handiwork. Just thinking about all the drama she would have to go through to recertify sent her pressure through the roof. And she was about to give Solomon's little ass hell. Solomon almost jumped out of his skin when Malika stormed into his room unannounced. He was lying across the bed with his hand in his pants and watching something on his laptop that he didn't want his mother to see. Don't you know how to knock? Solomon asked, flipping the screen closed. I pay the bills in here so I don't have to knock. Solomon, when did this letter come? She tossed the envelope on the bed. I don't know, Solomon said, and cut on his Xbox. What the hell do you mean you don't know? You got it out of the box, didn't you? I guess. He shrugged and went about the task of loading Madden 10. Malika stepped between Solomon and the television, blocking his view. What's your problem, Ma? My problem is that your irresponsible ass got our food stamps cut off because you didn't give me this letter. Now I gotta go uptown and sort all this shit out tomorrow. Solomon looked at her quizzically. So what's the big deal? You should be a pro at this by now. Malika reached down and ripped the wires out of the Xbox from the television. Solomon bolted upright. Chill before you break my game. You don't own shit because you don't buy shit in here, Solomon. Your attitude has been really twisted lately, and I don't like it. I ain't got no attitude, Ma. You the one acting like a crazy woman in front of my friends. Solomon folded his arms. Who? That degenerate-ass Scar? Boy, you can't be serious. And you know damn well that the reason I went in is because I told you not to be posted up in front of the building with Scar and them. I wasn't chilling with Scar. I was with Jay. Malika laughed. As if his ass is still innocent little Jay. I don't know why you and Jay can't just hang out here and play video games like you used to instead of getting caught up in these projects. Ma, you can only play video games for so long. Nobody wants to be stuck in the house all day long. You don't let me go outside the hood. And when I go in front of the building to get some air, you scream on me. I can't win for losing. Malika took a deep breath and sat on the edge of the bed.
So we got breakfast going. These grits is bubbling, so they show no hotness. I'm plugged in. They good to go. They gonna get it. They supposed to be.
It feels like you can't turn on the news without seeing a grieving parent. A mother's worst fear
And
is
we
losing their child to this bullshit that I'm trying to shift
shipping the tandem right now.
Solomon sat up, folded his arms. Come on, Ma. I know what time it is on the streets. That's why I don't mess around with the stuff Scar and those guys are into. Just because you may see me with them doesn't mean I'm out there doing what they do. That may be, Solomon. But the police aren't going to care if they swoop down on you. It won't matter if they're Scars, J's, or your drugs. The police will divide them among the three of you and take all your asses in. Now, if the police roll on the spot, I'm getting up out of there, Solomon said, as if he had it all figured out. Boy, are you out of your damn mind? Don't even run from the police. All that will do is give them a reason to shoot you. Solomon waved her off. Ma, you don't know what's up out there. Little boy, I've probably forgotten more than you will ever learn. I became a mother when I was only a few years older than you are now, when I found out that I was pregnant with you. During my pregnancy and after, I have always been the rock that holds this family together. So you can't tell me anything about knowing what's up out there in the world. It's you who hasn't got a clue. I'm good, Mommy. I can take care of myself. Solomon, you can barely wipe your ass, let alone survive out on your own. Stop being a smartass and listen to what I'm telling you, Malika said. Okay, Mom. Solomon went back to his video game. Malika stared at her son for a long time and said nothing. She could see the same determined look in his eyes that Swade had had whenever he was plotting, and this is what scared her. Malika had bent over backwards to make sure that her son was raised right. But for as good of a mother she might have strived to be, she was flawed. Because she was a woman, and therefore it was impossible for her to really teach him how to be a man. It was times like those when she wished that she had someone in her life to provide a positive example of manhood for Solomon, but she didn't. So until the situation changed, she would have to wear both hats. Malika got up off the bed and headed for the door. Leftovers from dinner are in the microwave. I've got my key, so don't go to the door. Where are you going? He asked, as if he paid the bills in the house. Out, she said over her shoulder before slamming his bedroom door. Malika welcomed the cool air that ran across her face when she came out of the building. She loved the tranquility of her cozy little apartment, but sometimes it felt like the walls were closing in on her, especially when she was having problems with Solomon, which seemed to be more and more frequent the older he got. Sometimes he stressed her so bad that she wanted to put her foot in his ass, but the guilt she carried for the fact that he was growing up fatherless stayed her anger. Solomon, like most kids, didn't ask to be born, but God had saw fit to bring him into the world anyhow. As parents, they had a moral obligation to the children, but not everyone held up their end of the bargain, which was the case with Swade. When things got bad in the house, she sometimes questioned her decision to have a child so young, but every time she looked at him, the doubt evaporated. She loved Solomon more than anything and would go above and beyond to protect him, which is what Scar and his little crew needed to get through their ignorant little heads. Just breathe, Malika, she told herself. She took stock of her surroundings and realized that she had walked all the way to 109th Street. She was now not only aggravated and confused, but almost a half a mile away from the apartment she was in no rush to get back to. For as much as she loved Solomon, she couldn't deal with him at that moment. She spent all of her time taking care of him, and that night, she wanted to be taken care of. After digging a quarter out of her pocket, she found a payphone and called Teddy. Solomon gave Malika about a 15-minute head start before slipping into his jacket and heading for the door. He stopped in front of the mirror to give himself the once over before slipping out of the door. He knew his mother would try and kill him if she found out that he'd gone out after dark, which is why he had no intentions of getting caught. By the time Solomon made it from the elevator to the lobby door, his whole demeanor had changed. His happy schoolboy jaunt slowed to a bop, and a scowl melted over his face. The drop in the temperature had sent most people indoors, but the few who made their lives in the courtyard remained. Nodding to a few heads he knew, Solomon ambled from the building over to the bench where Lloyd and Jay were applying their trade. "Oh shit, my nigga, love lockdown," Lloyd ripped Solomon as soon as he walked up. He was sitting on the backrest of the bench, passing something to an older guy that Solomon had seen around. "What's good, son?" Solomon gave Lloyd dap, and then Jay. "Saul, your mom's is gonna flip if she catch you out here." Jay looked around nervously, as if Malika would spring from the bushes at any moment. "Nah, she gone for a while." Solomon took a seat on the bench next to Jay. "What's good with y'all fools?" "Out here chasing a dollar? Fuck is good with you?" Lloyd asked, in an accusatory tone, as he twirled the cigar back and forth between his fingers. "You know how I keep it," Solomon said in a hip tone that made Lloyd scoff. "Yeah, which is why I'm trying to figure out what you're doing out here after the streetlights have come on." "Come on, B. Stop trying to play me like I'm one of the little niggas from behind the center or something," Solomon said. It always irritated him when the older heads made fun of his mother's tight yoke on him, but Lloyd especially. "Don't wet that Saul. Lloyd is just playing," Jay said in an attempt to ease the discomfort he knew his friend was feeling. Lloyd just scoffed and proceeded to split the cigar down the middle. "So, where'd your moms go to have you feeling frog enough to be out here hanging with the scumbags?" "I don't know," Solomon shrugged. "She broke out on some fake mad shit a little while ago. She probably up the block at Jada's or something." "Yo, that is one bad bitch," Jay said excitedly. "Yeah, and she's out of your league, little stud," Lloyd said, shooting him down. "The way I hear it, she's out of anybody's league unless it's Cuddy," Solomon added his 2 cents. "See?" Lloyd began as he lit the blunt he expertly rolled. "That's the problem with y'all cats. Y'all always got your mouth in grown folks' business and don't know what you're talking about." "Man, everybody knows Jada's Cuddy's BM, and the nigga is straight crazy over her," Jay said. "That ain't the word on the street," Lloyd exhaled a fog of smoke into Jay's face. "Cuddy's got a bitch uptown that he's claiming is his wife, so Jada is up for the highest bidder. My nigga Scar been sizing that up for a minute." Lloyd handed the blunt to Jay. The boy tried to hit the weed like a champ and damn near choked to death. Solomon looked at Lloyd quizzically. "Jada's a serious-ass broad and only fucks with boss cats. If anything, I think she'd be trying to set it out to Prince, if anybody." "Prince ain't the boss of shit," Lloyd said sharply. "All that nigga does is go between us and the man holding the gate. Solomon, you see for yourself every time you come out here, it's us on the money. This hood and all the money that passes through it belongs to us. You better ask your man, shorty." "He ain't lying." Jay said, and pulled a knot of money out of his pocket to prove it. "We be getting stupid paper out of these buildings, Saul." He waved the money proudly. The wad was money from the drug package, not Jay's. But Solomon was naive enough to be enticed. Jay tried to pass the blunt to Solomon, but he declined. "I'm good." Lloyd laughed. "Relax, it's only some green. What, you think we gonna give you dust or something on the sneak?" He tried to loosen him up, but Solomon was still hesitant. "Jay, I told you this nigga was a square." Solomon sat on the bench, feeling like every set of eyes in the entire projects were focused on him. In the back of his mind, he could hear his mother giving him a speech about gateway drugs, but it was drowned out by the mocking stare he was getting from Lloyd and his desire to belong. "Fuck it," Solomon said, and took the weed. Malika wasn't sure how it happened, but she ended up at Teddy's apartment in the Bronx. She had called him just to shoot the breeze and try to burn off some steam before she went back home. But the more she talked, the more she opened up about what was going on with her. The next thing she knew, she was crying, and Teddy was pulling up to the corner in his Durango. They rode around for a while and talked, while they sipped vodka and smoked green. She hadn't even realized that they'd left Manhattan until Teddy was parking the truck on 184th and Valentine. It was a tastefully decorated studio with a big screen television and a futon. He'd claimed he only needed 5 minutes to grab his wallet and change his jacket. But that 5 minutes turned into a half hour because TV1 was showing Sparkle, and it was both their favorites. Malika was at peace, lying across the futon watching Lynette McKee working the sexy red dress across the stage. She didn't get this kind of solitude with Solomon's antics and staring at the drab yellow walls on her apartment, and it felt good. Without even realizing she had done so, she snuggled closer to Teddy. "I miss this," Teddy said, sealing the ends of the joint he was rolling. "What, Sparkle?" Malika looked up at him. "No, this." He motioned to them. "Remember when we used to do this all the time? Lay around and watch movies?"
My money don't play. Time equals money. Equals time. I be grinding all day. My money don't play. I be on my grind. I said my time is money equals time.
Hello?
Hey, Chad, how you, man? Are you sick? And, it was for trucking at me.
Yeah. You should have the BOLs in a minute, yeah.
That's perfect. Okay, cool. All right, thank you, man.
No
I appreciate it.
problem.
Thanks.
The time? Lay around and watch movies? Yeah, it would be nice until your phone would ring and you go into the bathroom to take the call. Malika sat up. "Teddy, I didn't really come over here to go down memory lane. I have enough negative stuff running around in my head already without adding our failed little romance to it." "Malika, how could you call something that was never given a chance to work failed? When things were good between us, they were really good. Don't you miss it?" "Yeah, I do," she admitted. "But I'm not willing to pay the price tag you're trying to hang on it. Yo, men continue to baffle me with the way they move. Y'all could have something that's priceless, and you still want more. Why can't you ever be satisfied with just one chick?" "Because we're greedy," he said honestly. "Now before you go all Shirley Chisholm on me, let me explain. Men, we're like animals, meaning we move off instinct instead of thoughts. No matter how much a dude loves his girl, he's always gonna lust after other chicks. It's just how we're wired. But this doesn't mean we always gotta act on it. Our base desire to conquer women is why it's so hard to be faithful, but it's not impossible to be with one woman." "So then why did you make it seem so impossible?" she asked. "Because back then I didn't have that kind of discipline." He gave her a sincere look. The pain Malika saw behind his eyes caused her to turn away, but he made her look at him. "I'm a different man now." He kissed her lips softly and ran his hand down her back. "Teddy, don't." She pulled away, but it was half-hearted. It had been so long since she had been touched by a man that it felt almost electric. She wanted to give herself to him, but she was afraid. "Malika, you don't have to carry your burdens anymore." He kissed her again, and this time she kissed him back. "Let me help you carry them." Time wrapped in on itself, blurring the lines between seconds, minutes, and hours. It felt like Teddy had 1,000 hands as he seemed to touch her everywhere at once, lighting small fires under her skin and deep in her gut. She floated down onto the futon and let him command her body. Teddy slipped between her legs, kissing her neck and stomach, while he worked her pussy moist with 2 fingers. His penis felt heavy in his hand when he pulled it out and tried to guide it inside Malika. He had almost penetrated her when she stopped him. "I know you got a condom." She looked up at him with intoxicated eyes. "Come on, baby, you know me." He pleaded, feeling like he was going to come prematurely. "Teddy, I'm already feeling like this is a mistake, so if I were you, I'd wrap this pickle before I change my mind." She reached down and stroked his thick penis, dripping pre-cum onto her thigh. Teddy grumbled something and rolled off her, and walked to the bathroom with his rock-hard dick slapping his thighs. A few seconds later, he came back holding up a Magnum package for her approval. "That's more like it," Malika said with a smile. Teddy rolled the condom over his throbbing manhood and lowered himself on top of Malika again. She was tight, so tight that even with her own moisture and the lubricant from the condom, he couldn't get it in without hurting both of them. Teddy parted her legs and lowered his face to her vagina, where he proceeded to work his tongue inside her, sending jolts of pleasure through her limbs. Malika dragged her nails across the back of Teddy's scalp while he worked her to a nice lather. She stared up at the ceiling as spots danced before her eyes while Teddy continued to lap her like a thirsty kitten. Her heart screamed no, but her body barked yes, and she tried to shove Teddy's whole face inside her. All of her fears and apprehensions faded away, leaving only the longing to feel Teddy inside her, and she let him know by reluctantly pulling his face free of her vagina. Teddy's goatee was slick with Malika's juices as he looked down into her hungry eyes. He knew just what she wanted and intended to give it to her. Now that she was wet enough, it was a little easier to enter her. Teddy slipped a little of him at a time into her tight glove, silently calling on God and every other saint he could think of. Malika's pussy was like a beam of sunshine shining down on his face on a summer day. With every pump inside her sweetness, Teddy could feel her walls tightening around his shaft, making him want to go deeper. He held out for 10 minutes before the buildup became too much for him, and he exploded inside the condom. Teddy continued pumping as the cum kept spurting from his dick, eventually spitting out over the rim of the condom and dripping onto the futon. When he felt the last of it, and his strength faded, he collapsed on top of Malika, sucking his thumb like a baby. Chapter 21. Miss Pat blew into the living room like Hurricane Katrina. She was dressed in a deep purple skirt with a purple and yellow top, accented by the matching wide-brim purple hat. From behind her purple bifocals, she glared at everyone assembled. Mookie and Fish sat at the coffee table trying not to look guilty of whatever they were up to. By their glassy eyes and stiff jaws, everyone in the house already had an idea. Miles and Jalen ran around the living room screaming and throwing socks at each other and bumping into Miss Pat's china cabinet, while Davida lounged on the couch, texting on her phone like she didn't notice. "Y'all don't hear the door?" Miss Pat asked. "No, Mama," Mookie said, with a glassy look to his eyes. He and Fish had been sitting there, stuck on stupid since they'd walked in almost an hour prior. "I know it ain't for me, so why bother?" Davida rolled her eyes and went back to texting on her phone. Her little brother and sister never broke their stride as they continued running around the coffee table, knocking one of Miss Pat's glass figurines to the floor and shattering it. Miss Pat's glasses fogged up as she walked calmly into the kitchen and came out with a glass of water, which she sipped gingerly. She snatched Davida's phone mid-text and dropped it into the glass of water, then tossed the water and phone onto the table between Mookie and Fish. Without missing a beat, she tripped the running Jalen and snatched Miles by the back of his shirt and flung him on the couch next to his sister. Now that she had all of their attentions, Miss Pat spoke. "Heavenly Father, you have surely blessed me with a house full of the laziest, most useless creatures you have ever seen fit to breathe breath in." Miss Pat shook her head. "You lazy souls eat, sleep, shit, and pluck my nerves rent-free, and I can't even get you off your lazy asses to answer the door?" Davida opened her mouth to say something, but Miss Pat silenced her with a pointed finger. "I wish you would open your smart-ass mouth so I can send them rotten-ass teeth on an all-expense trip paid down your throat." Davida folded her arms, but didn't say anything. "See?" Miss Pat took slow steps toward Davida. "That's your problem now. Your mouth spends more time open than your ears. If you'd spend as much time paying attention in school as you did talking slick, you might not be getting left back." "Again?" Mookie added. "And you." Miss Pat turned her attention to her son. "I don't know what you and that extra thick Negro sitting next to you are planning, but it had better not go down in my house or in my hood. Y'all know I'm getting money out this house, and you always bring the law calling. Shit, you probably didn't answer the door because you was scared it was them Warrant boys," she scoffed. "Again?" Davida mumbled. "Shut up before I come across your mind, Vita," Miss Pat warned as she headed to answer the door. She was still mumbling to herself when she opened the door to find Gucci and Tiana. "Oh, damn, let me get my winter coat," she said, looking Gucci up and down. "What's that supposed to mean?" Gucci asked. "If you're coming by my house, then it must be snowing in hell, so I gotta dress warm," Miss Pat said with a smile. "Bring your narrow ass in here and give your auntie a hug." Miss Pat grabbed Gucci in a warm embrace. "Girl, you looking good." She spun Gucci around and slapped her on her ass. "And look at all that junk in your trunk. Animal must be knocking the lining out that young stuff. Ask his pretty ass if he got a brother." "Auntie, your ass is still crazy as hell," Gucci laughed. "Oh, and you remember my girl Tiana, don't you?" Miss Pat peered at Tiana over the top of her glasses. "The hustler's wife. How could I forget?" Miss Pat had never too much cared for Tiana because of the way she carried herself when she was doing slightly better than everyone else. No matter how well off Miss Pat and her husband were back
Yeah,
in
you
the day,
guys, that was the
they never
cook-up.
acted like they were above their neighbors because they knew that the same people you saw
Matter
on
of
the way
fact,
up
let me see
were the
if I
ones you saw on the
can
way down.
show y'all what we got going on this morning, because I could tell you about it, but sometimes it'd be just better if you could see it. You feel me? Sometimes it just be better if you could see what I'm saying, and then you will understand that I'm not just saying shit to be saying.
That ain't no way to greet your big cousin. Come here. Mookie embraced her. There was something about the way he was running his hands up and down her back that made Gucci feel violated, so she pushed away from him. Girl, you look good, and I see you shining something fierce. He examined her jewels. I'm doing all right, Gucci told him, running her hand up and down her arms from the chills his stare was.
What's up, you guys? We just delivered a satchel over here. We just delivered a bag over here. My bad. I was just saying we just delivered a satchel this morning. We got to go get another satchel, but first we got to deal with this type of stuff right here. I was just going to open my trailer doors and I seen this blooper right here, and I'm like, oh fuck, I got to get a tire. Yeah, because if you see your tire moving like that, that means you don't want to. When you see your tire moving like that, you really don't want to just keep driving on that, because that could lead to now you on the side of the road. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and go get that changed. So that's how we starting our day. You know what I'm saying? How you starting your day? We delivered a bag, and now we're gonna go change this tire and get another bag. We cooked us some breakfast finally. And we had that bacon is busting. Them little maple sausages from Family Dollar, Dollar General, whatever. They was busting. And then we had got the eggs and the sausages from Walmart this morning when I was just riding. I seen the Walmart. I was like, yes. It's like they just opened. It was early morning. Like, yes, I need this. I need eggs. Hopefully these eggs don't freeze. I turned the freezer down some. You know, I appreciate y'all for tapping in, rocking with me, but I'm going to go ahead and get this day started. I'll tap back in with y'all when we get to the shop, all right? Milkman, Mr. Milktastic, Millionaire Mission, coming back at you with another episode. We got to deal with this. Yeah. So we're going to go deal with that shit. Hey, y'all stay prayed up, man. Did I read the Bible on this live? I think I started this live with the Bible. If not, just come back when I go back live, and we're going to be into all of that, as you guys know. And also, it's a Millionaire Mission. White on white. Green on yellow. Holla at your fellow. Black on white. White on black.